Welcome to the Drive-In Movie Podcast.
Now playing How to Train Your Dragon.
This is the podcast where we watch a blockbuster movie in theaters and then immediately run to the car to film a podcast.
Because we've always had our best conversations in the car after the movie, right after we've seen it.
When the movie's freshest in our brains.
Exactly.
This one is going to be a little bit different, though.
This is a little bit different, just because I was sick when we actually saw How to Train Your Dragon.
Like, deathly, so long.
And so I was like, I can't do a podcast. Also, technically, I've seen the movie 2 months ago.
Right.
I saw it 2 months ago.
You did kind of sound like you were dying.
I was dying. I very much am. I still might hack a little bit, but it's okay. It's okay. Just think of it as like roaring, like a dragon's roaring. Like
right. You're
a dragon.
Yeah. Dude,
yeah.
Okay. I actually kind of despise myself for this because I wanted to not like this movie.
I know you did. I was sitting there the whole time. I was like, Mike, I can't tell what Michael's vibe is because like, I feel like he hates it, but also like, how can you hate this?
I was sitting there with my arms crossed, like frowning the whole time.
And I was like looking, I was waiting, and Michael's just like, his lips are like,
this movie's awesome. I was like, I looked so pissed. And I was like, damn it, this movie's good.
Yeah, if you have not seen any of our other episodes, Michael hates live action.
I'm not a fan of it, especially.
Michael didn't smile a single time during Lilo and Stitch,
especially a shot-for-shot live action remake. I'm like, if it's like basically the same exact movie, why make it? But they did a good job.
They did a good job. It was like the first time where I was watching a live action remake, and I couldn't believe it was literally a perfect recreation to the point where I was like, I actually really appreciate how perfect it is.
The thing is, though, is that if it wasn't as good, then they would have completely ruined it. But the good news is that it has a lot of the same charm.
Oh yeah,
and
same
like a
charm.
lot of the same appeal. So even though it's shot for shot, line for line, almost 90%, you know, probably maybe even a little bit more.
I think it's
90%.
a little bit more, to be honest. I think the only thing that's different is like the inflection and the speed of the line deliveries are a little bit different.
I need to rewatch the animated version to see how similar it is.
That's a good call. That's a good call.
But I could tell, even though I hadn't seen the animated in a long time, I was like, that line's from the original movie. That line's from the original movie. But the good news is that they didn't do it worse.
No, I felt like it was really, really strong, and aspects of the movie are definitely like so much more enhanced because it is live action. And like, I know there's conversation about like, is, you know, live action remakes worth watching? Should you support these movies? But like, to me, How to Train Your Dragon is the exception, just because like it is the same director, Dean DeBlois, who's making this, right? It is his original vision just expanded upon and just brought to life in a different way. And I still think there's artistry in that.
Yeah, and the same actor for Stoick, too.
Same actor for Stoick.
And he kills it in live action, too. I mean, he's iconic as the voice actor for Stoick, and he also killed it in live action.
I have a hot take.
Oh.
Which is not, this might not even be a hot take, actually. But like, there was so much...
This movie is going to be adored and beloved, so be careful.
There was so much controversy with the casting of Astrid in this movie. Like, so many people...
What was the controversy?
Because she's not white. Because Nico Parker's not white, so people are like, Astrid's ruined, this movie's ruined, she's going to be terrible.
If you didn't know that going in, though, like
they're like, oh, they're like, Vikings are white. Like, that's historically inaccurate. Who cares? Who cares?
Literally, who cares?
It's a movie about Vikings riding dragons.
How is that a hot take?
No, that's not my hot take.
Oh, okay.
My hot take is that I was saying, like, it's amazing how much controversy she had going into this. And it pleases me to say, I think Nico Parker is the better version of Astrid.
Ooh.
That's the hot take.
I definitely think that they're different. I think all of the rules are actually kind of different. That's the thing. This movie, I think this might be a hot take. I think it does as well as the original.
No, I agree.
But it emphasizes different emotions.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
For sure.
Because in the animated version, you don't really get how young they are. Like the kids, they seem almost like they're in their late teens or maybe even early 20s.
Yeah.
These guys are teenagers.
They're teenagers.
They seem like maybe they're 15.
For sure.
And so that definitely makes you feel like they are young and learning, and you know, they're figuring stuff out. And so this version of Astrid, I think definitely...
she is so young, but she's so strong.
Yes.
It's incredible how strong she was in moments.
And
how wise she was in moments, too. Like, she's so composed.
And that's what makes her so impressive in this movie. Because in the original movie, like, she was also super strong there, but she might have, like, come across as a little bit older. But in this movie, you're like, wow, she's young, and she's already so talented. Like, she's a prodigy.
I just think, like, Astrid as a character comes off better in live action than it does animated. Like there's some characters like on Hiccup is significantly better in animation in my opinion. It just works significantly.
And the voice actor in the original, I forget his name, but he's just got that like very unique, awkward voice.
Yeah,
that just fits with the character so much better.
Yeah.
I mean,
you just gestured to all of me.
Yeah. You just gestured to all of me. This version of Hiccup is great too, but the voice actor for the original just really gets across that he's a nerd and doesn't fit in and is awkward.
And I think I love one of the weird things about the How to Train Your Dragon animated trilogy, as great as it is kind of weird and disorienting when Hiccup's having this amazing glow up, one of the best glow ups of all time, but his voice doesn't change.
He just grew a beard. Let's be real.
The
glow up is he grew a beard.
He changed his hairstyle. He has a braid.
He went to the barber. That was his glow up. The character model's exactly the same.
He just looks, but it makes a difference. Okay, it makes a difference.
Of course, I'm not saying the barber doesn't make a difference, but the greatest glow up of all time.
It is one of the strongest glow ups in cinema history. You cannot deny that.
Bro got a haircut and grew his beard
and
out.
It works. He does not have a beard until the end epilogue of How to Train Your Dragon 3 Hidden World, Michael. Get your facts straight. Okay, if you're gonna
Michael, get your facts straight. Until the end of How to Train Your Dragon 3 Hidden World, he doesn't have a beard.
Regardless, Hiccup, argue with the internet. Hiccup has one of the best glow ups in cinema history, except his voice does not change. I think the evolution of the characters just growing up is going to translate better in live action because they are going to naturally change, and so it's going to be more believable.
I'm going to tangent real quick. Let's come back to this because the part of growing up just reminded me of something. Dude, when is the next season of Stranger Things finally going to come out?
Oh, you don't know?
No.
Bro, this is a thing. We got our first little teaser last week.
Oh.
You really didn't know?
No, but I have been seeing people talking online about, dude, these kids are going to look so old.
Do you have any plans for your holidays this year?
What, like Christmas?
I'm talking Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's Eve.
The whole time?
So, Stranger Things Season 5 is going to release in 3 parts.
They love doing this.
I know. I hated it when they did it. Always now they're doing it 3 parts.
They're always like, oh, it's going to be the final season, but the final season is going to be 4 seasons.
I don't know the day exactly in my head. I just know that Volume 1 of Stranger Things Season 5 releases the day before Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Volume 2 releases Christmas Day.
Oh.
Volume 3 releases New Year's Eve.
Oh, so they're all coming out around the same time.
Around the same time, yeah. In a month period, you'll have a month and a few change of days.
Is each volume going to be... How long is each volume going to be?
I don't know, but I do know that some episodes are going to feel like mini movies, essentially. There'll be an hour and a half, 2 hours maybe. Some episodes will be 40 minutes.
Is that why this season took so long to make? Because there's so much screen time?
They're going... Okay. It is going to be I know we all have complaints about Stranger Things taking forever to film, but I think this new season is going to be so cinematic. Honestly, they set themselves up for this. There's a high level of expectation with the production and the quality and the writing of Stranger Things Season 5 because they took so long. I have faith that they're going to live up to it.
Interesting.
But... yeah.
Are they in their 20s now?
Oh, yeah, dude. The little... Lucas's little sister, who's in elementary school. Bro, she graduated high school this year.
So she's 18 years old.
Yeah, she is a full adult now.
Wow.
It is crazy.
Which means all the other kids must be at least 2 years older than her and in their 20s at least.
Yeah.
Wow. And then what are they... How old are they playing? 15?
There's only been 1 year since the last season. So technically they're still juniors in high school.
Okay, because the first season they were 11 or something?
They were freshmen, I think.
Really? They were supposed to be 14 in season 1?
8th grade or freshman.
Okay. Still, 13 or 14. Yeah. They were teenagers in the first season? No way.
Probably the second season. I think the second season they were supposed to be in high school.
Okay. Still, and season 1, I wouldn't have been surprised if you said they were 8 in season 1.
I know, no, they're definitely older. Maybe they were supposed to originally be younger, but then they're we have to make them in high school.
But it was fun watching them grow in between seasons.
Yeah,
which is going to be similar to this trilogy, to the How to Train Your Dragon
3 years is a long time for the last season of this one. But yes, How to Train Your Dragon is going to be fun watching them grow.
The jump from season 1 to season 2 is fun.
I don't think...
Maybe season 2 to season 3.
With How to Train Your Dragon, I don't think the jump is going to be as significant as it was in the animation.
They're already filming the next one, right?
Not filming yet, but it does release in 2027. So 2 years from this month, it will release.
Interesting. Is this movie out yet? As we're filming this?
Yes. As we're filming this, no, it's not out yet.
Okay.
When this releases, it will have been out for a day or 2.
Okay. Gotcha.
But I want to go back to How to Train Your Dragon.
Right.
Because we skipped a step. How many Michaels are you giving the live action How to Train Your Dragon?
I'm giving it 8 Michaels.
8 Mike. I am also giving it 8 Michaels.
Wow.
I want to give it 10. Ooh, equal. I want to give it 10, but I don't know if I can give it 10. I think here's the thing. I do think it is a very well made movie.
Me too.
There's very like little things. Like I think for as intense as it is, it also still plays off as the same DreamWorks movie where people don't really get injured. I mean, I know they'd get injured, but like there's no blood. There's no like there's still like the animated like gimmicks. Like there's no like actual danger, even though there is danger.
Right.
But like that's like very nitpicky.
That is kind of funny because the major plot point of the movie is that Hiccup loses, Toothless loses part of his tail, and then Hiccup loses his leg.
But you don't see any of it, right?
So,
which
you
is,
don't
of course,
see the
I don't
gore,
need them
right?
to like be gory. Like I don't need it to be gory.
Yeah.
But like I do think it's still like below the line of like if I'm seeing a live action How to Train Your Dragon movie and there's a full on battle of dragons and it looks as epic as it does, I do want it to tiptoe the line a little bit more.
Blood.
Yeah, like
would
a little
that
bit
up the rating? Like, would it go from PG to like PG-13?
I would have loved if this movie was PG-13.
Yeah.
I'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
But also like the thing that I can't like get past, it's still a live action remake, right? If I saw this movie for the very first time, I would love it probably just as much as I love the animated movie for the very first time. But because I didn't, it's hard to like not have that in my head. So maybe like I could be convinced it's an 8.5, 9 out of 10.
Here was my thing. I think the first half of the movie was a 6.5 out of 10 because for a long time, all I could do was compare to the original movie. I kept thinking, this is the same line, this is the same scene, and and everything looks pretty much the same. Like you had told me when you had first seen this movie, too, because you got to see it like a month ago, that the training
2 months ago, I saw it the first week of April.
Yeah. You told me when you first saw the movie, and maybe even before that the training arena is a 1-to-1 replica of.
I told you that back in October. I knew that in October. I wasn't supposed to see a picture of the set, but I saw a picture of the set, and I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah. That's when I realized what this movie was going to be.
So, because of that, because things look pretty much the same, and because all the lines were the same, for the first half of the movie, I was kind of bored. Yeah. I was like, I know what this is. I know what this looks like. But then, for me, the turning point was the first flight scene. Where, well, not the first flight scene, but
like when he's like first like putting the saddle on and
test drive. Yeah, test drive. Yeah, that for me, that scene, it's still great in live action.
So good,
you know.
Well, actually, I actually think test drive is a little bit underwhelming in this movie.
I can
just a little bit.
Yeah, just like everything else in this movie, I think it does a little worse in some aspects and a little better in some aspects.
So there are 2 points of this movie that I think are so well done. So well done. And I think the first point actually is why Test Drive doesn't come across as great for me. I think the 2 parts that they do really well in this movie is the training, like the first initial like training montage when he's leading up to touching Toothless's head for the first time. Right. And he's in between like using the techniques he's learned with Toothless in the actual, dragon training classes or whatever it's called. That whole montage sequence where he's playing with Toothless and figuring out in his training session and trying to figure out how to fly at the same time. That and the final battle, like the final act of the movie, are so well done.
Yeah.
But the reason why Test Drive suffers a little bit is because they kind of break all the momentum and how good the momentum was from the training sequence with that one scene of like Stoick coming back. And he's like, oh, Hiccup, like, what happened to Hiccup? Hiccup's what? And then it goes into Test Drive. I was like, oh, you kind of killed the momentum that kind of naturally builds with the song, too.
Interesting. Is that how they did it in the original version?
I don't remember.
I can't remember.
I need to go back and rewatch. But that is something where I was like, oh, and that wasn't just like the first time, because I thought maybe, I have high expectations of Test Drive, and that's what I'm anticipating. Maybe that's why. But even the second time, I was like, no, I do think it's a genuine momentum break.
I do think that I can see why you would say that, but I don't know if the original version also did the same cut. So I don't know which one did it better. You might have the same criticism for both versions of the movie.
I didn't feel that when I'm watching the animated film. I did rewatch the animated film back in October. That was the last time I saw it.
Oh, so before the live action.
Before the live action.
That was 7 months ago now.
When I first found out that it was going to be pretty much recreated before the first trailer came out, I went and I watched it because I was like, I want to see these details before I see anything from the movie.
Here's what I thought about Test Drive. I thought that it didn't seem as chaotic, like when they're spinning around and stuff. And we talked about this right after we saw the movie too. So I think you said the same thing, but when they're spinning around and stuff and he's trying to figure out how to work the pedal and the wing, it's not as chaotic. It doesn't seem like as uncontrolled as it does in the animated. However, it does seem more dangerous because it's a real person, and like the water and the cliffs and everything are real. I assume that's all real. I assume that the set, like the setting, is not animated.
I don't know. The setting looks so close to the original like animation. Like I'm sure some of it is real, but I'm sure some of it is a little bit. I don't know.
If it is CGI, it's crazy good.
It is crazy good. The visuals in this movie are all so well done.
I thought surely these are drone shots over Scotland or something. Like these must be like the cliffs and highlands of Scotland or something. But I don't know if it's CGI, it's crazy good. But anyway, like the free fall when Toothless and Hiccup get separated, and then they're just free falling, and Hiccup has to get back in the saddle on Toothless and then pull up before that to me, it is really good. It's still good. Yeah, it's still good. So there are certain aspects where I'm like, they did worse here, but they did that better.
Yeah. So I think like I completely fell in love with the final act of this movie. Yeah, completely fell in love with it. I love the intensity of like the battle, the intensity of like the alpha, and like fighting Toothless and how they like took it down. Like it's beautiful. In fact, I loved it so much. I don't think I ever told you this. So I met Dean DeBlois at CinemaCon before the movie. Yes. I actually met him again right after the movie. That same day, I had seen How to Train a Dragon like an hour before this. I'm still wearing this hoodie. Okay. And I got to meet him again, and this time like he stopped and he's like, "Okay, so what did you think? Like, did you enjoy the movie?" And I told him like I really enjoyed it. I loved it. I'm so excited now to hear that you guys are getting How to Train a Dragon 2. My favorite was the final battle. Specifically, my favorite shot is when they just taken down the alpha, and Toothless is trying to catch Hiccup flying through the flames. Mm-hmm. The first time I saw it, I was like, oh, I was like, this is beautiful. And then the whole moment of like Stoick, like going and then like accepting Toothless as like, thank you for saving my son. I lost it. I'm getting teary thinking about it. It's so freaking good.
They did so good with the, not just like the CGI, but what I imagine must be the actual effects. All the fire and sparks and stuff in this movie.
Specifically when like Toothless like makes his bed too, and it's like the purple fire.
All the fire. Oh crap! Even that scene that you're talking about, which I'm pretty sure is also in the trailer.
It is in the final trailer. I was actually kind of upset that's in the final trailer because I was
but like you said, that shot is amazing.
It's so amazing.
I don't blame them.
I have a theory. I think he put that in the trailer because I told him how great that shot was. Because I remember Dean looked at me and goes, "Huh." Like he didn't consider that. He was not expecting me to tell him
your
that.
Influence is crazy,
I think I'm taking credit for it. Dean can tell me I'm wrong. It's fine, but I'm taking credit for it. I told him that, and I saw the light bulb moment in his eyes.
Congratulations. You've left your mark on this movie.
I influenced marketing for Congratulations. I just love this movie. It does kind of set a bad precedent for live actions going forward because everyone's going to be like, just make it the exact same.
Yeah, now everyone's going to be like, you don't have to change anything. We can make more money just by remaking.
It's not going to work just because your stories are not all as strong as How to Train a Dragon.
And also,
that's what carries this and what makes you forget about it.
You have to make it at least as good.
It has to be as good.
You cannot do the same thing but worse because then it's just going to suck.
Yeah, that's true.
Because the whole time...
Lion King is a perfect example. Yeah. Lion King is a perfect example. It is shot for shot. Everything about it. But there's also something about it that just feels like it doesn't have life.
Yeah.
And shot for shot recreation. All CGI. It all looks realistic, which is great. But it does not feel like it has a soul.
Yeah.
How to Train a Dragon, this movie bleeds soul.
I completely agree with you. You know? And that's the main problem I have with live action remakes, really, is not the fact, because we've talked about this a couple times.
Yep.
It's not just going from animated to live action. It's the fact that when you do that, a lot of times they just take out the charm. They just make it the same thing, but take away a lot of the stuff that makes it good. This movie did a very good job of you could tell they put a lot of effort in to say, we have to make sure that this has the same heart.
And a lot of that is because Dean DeBlois, who didn't want this movie recreated in live action, was like, I can't let anyone else do this. Like, I need to make sure that the heart of it does stay the same.
Yeah.
And it's the biggest difference between this movie and every other live action recreation. It is the only one that has the same director directing it.
Are there any animated movies that you would want to see in live action?
There is one, and there's a very specific reason, and it's something I actually hope that they do for How to Train a Dragon 2, actually.
Okay.
I would love to see Treasure Planet recreated.
You love,
but
Treasure
listen,
Planet.
like
you love
listen. I think Treasure Planet is a great movie, but I think it could be significantly improved in live action. And I think the way they do that is they do tiptoe the line to get it more to a PG-13 rating. Because Treasure Planet could potentially live up to movies like Star Wars and Pirates of the Caribbean. It has a strong enough story. It can't do it on its own in animation.
And it's got sick-ass hoverboards.
It does have sick-ass hoverboards.
And robots.
I think it'd be great. I genuinely think it could be great. It shouldn't, but live-action remakes should not happen unless the movie has room to grow. And I think Treasure Planet, as much as I love it, does have significant room to grow.
Yeah. And I also think people just forget about it all the time. You could bring it back to relevancy if you make a live action remake and knock it out of the park, because people like to say it's not good.
It's on the cusp too, because there is a cult following of Treasure Planet.
I've noticed, because you've made content about it, and then I go to the comments and people actually are saying, I love this movie. Nobody talks about how good this movie is.
It is a great movie.
It's not just you. It's like there's a big following.
But that's why it could be such a great live action remake, because it has so much potential.
Yeah.
It has so much potential.
I really agree with you.
Yeah. And like Atlantis though is the counterpart, right? A lot of people are also like, well, if we're doing Treasure Planet, I want a live action Atlantis movie. I don't know if Atlantis would be improved much more.
I wouldn't want that.
I think it's already kind of hit its potential.
Yeah. And it's up there. You know what I mean?
It is up there.
I love that movie.
Is there any live action movies that you would want to see?
That's the thing. That's when I was asking you, I don't think that there's any...
Emperor's New Groove.
That would ruin it. That would ruin it.
I know. I know. Michael would go to Walt Disney Studios and just like burn the whole place down.
There are scenes that are impossible to make in live action. Like that scene where Cusco is trying not to wake up the Panthers, and then there's that squirrel with the balloon, and he's going, and then he pops it, and none of the Panthers wake up, and then Cusco goes, ha, and then the Panthers in one frame, all of them simultaneously jump up immediately.
Yeah, it wouldn't work.
You cannot do that timing in live action.
There's a live action movie that actually made a little bit of news today in the Hollywood Insider world.
Ooh.
But
he's a Hollywood Insider, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm not. I just follow the Hollywood Insiders. Disney is developing a Hercules live action movie. Now listen, before you roll your eyes or whatever, technically Hercules is probably the most fair game, because there's so many adaptations of Hercules.
I can't believe we're getting a live action Hercules movie before we're getting a Hercules musical.
No. Hercules opened in the West End in London like 3 days ago.
What?
Bang!
3 days ago?
Yeah, like literally last week.
I can't believe the timing of this.
I know.
I can't believe like last week. I've been saying for decades. I was like, why is Hercules not a musical?
Every time I watch a musical, honestly, every time I watch a musical with Michael, he sits there and goes, could be Hercules.
Could have been Hercules. I'm watching Friend of the Opera. Could have been Hercules. I'm watching Rent, and they're all singing about their sexually transmitted diseases. And I'm going,
could have been Hercules. Man.
You know
who probably has an STD, Meg?
Yeah. You know who would have killed this? James Woods as Hades.
Michael's sitting there in Hamilton when they're going A or H. What do they do? Alexander Hamilton. Do they spell it as
A-L-E-X-A-N-D? We can't go too far into this.
You're right. Cover. But Michael will be sitting going Hercules.
I'm like, dang, I wish
Hercules Morgan! Hercules!
I wish Danny DeVito was here right now. I wish Danny DeVito was telling me how much potential I had right now. That would have made this musical like top tier.
That's so funny. But anyway, so they're developing it, and there's the Russo brothers are directing it. You know, the same people.
The Hercules live action?
Hercules live action.
Whoa.
And Hercules had a lot of like creative changes. Originally, everyone was worried because they were like, we're actually going to make Hercules inspired by TikTok. And everyone freaked out. They're like, please do not.
What does that even mean?
Exactly. What does that mean? But thankfully,
inspired by TikTok?
They moved on. They moved on from that. But no, so now the creative tension that's potentially brewing is that Disney wants a more faithful live action adaptation that's more faithful to the movie, right?
Okay.
The Russo brothers want to actually change the title to Hades and make it more centered around Hades.
Okay.
I think that'd be really cool.
I think that's a good idea because Hades kind of does steal the show.
Yeah. And so it'd be more of like a Maleficent type movie.
It'd be like if you made Mulan but called it Mushu.
Yeah, but you'd have to have Mushu in the movie.
There should be a spin-off movie.
Just for Mushu.
Explain
why Mushu's gone. Instantly redeem the live action movie.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's what I mean. If you're gonna make a movie, I think they might have learned from the Mulan live action, and they said, you know what, we took out the heart of this movie. Let's make a movie that's just the heart of the original movie.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I would love that. I would love a Hades movie.
Yeah. Going back to How to Train Your Dragon.
Okay.
Speaking of like heart and stuff, and like these characters, right? And they're taking out iconic elements of them. Right. The Toothless in this movie, I felt completely different about than the original.
Huh? Oh, why?
So I still loved the Toothless in this movie.
Right.
However, I feel like in the original movie, you cared a lot more about how cute Toothless was.
Yeah, he's more cute and silly.
He's more of like a pet, and he's silly, and you bond with him, and you're like, oh, you're supposed to be a
he's
scary
like doing
dragon.
a bunch of facial expressions like...
Yeah, you're supposed to be a scary dragon, but you're actually just a cute pet. In this movie, you actually feel like how much power there is behind him as a dragon. Yeah. Like when he's first trapped and Hiccup first releases him, and then Hiccup like...
Oh, because he's like growling. He has like...
Toothless pounces on Hiccup, and you really think, dude, Hiccup's going to die.
Yeah,
Toothless is going to kill Hiccup.
He's cooked.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But in the original version, this version, everything about Toothless was more, I want to say intimidating, but less cute. Like I connected with him less as a pet and more of just like as this animal.
Yeah. I can understand that.
So again, going back to, I think central point of this movie, something I keep coming back to is they do some things worse and something's better.
I think that actually enhances the relationship between Toothless and Hiccup, though, because Toothless is more dangerous.
I think so too. I think it's a different relationship than is in the original movie, which is fine.
I want to keep talking about dragons.
Okay,
but I think we need a transition.
Okay,
let's do a draft. Okay, we're gonna draft dragons. Okay,
yeah,
we're gonna take turns to see who can have a better roster of 3v3. Whose roster would win? All dragons.
Okay,
in movies. Ready? We're gonna rock, paper, scissors first. See who goes first, okay? Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Ooh, that's me.
Best 2 out of 3?
Always pick rock. Hell no.
What?
Why would I give up my first
Come on,
draft
best 2 out of
pick?
3. Best 2 out of 3 or else you're a coward.
All right.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Bang.
Okay. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
No!
I always pick rock. Oh, I picked rock 3 times. And I won twice.
Just
I even told you. I said always pick rock.
Just take the first pick. I know what you're gonna do. Just take it.
Okay.
Ridiculous.
First draft pick, Vhagar from A Song of Ice and Fire.
Are you kidding me?
What do you mean?
That's a terrible first pick.
Vhagar?
Yeah, I'm taking Toothless. Toothless is an alpha dragon.
That was my number 2 pick.
Yeah, but he should have been number 1. I was like, in my head, I was like, oh, he's picking Toothless. That's crazy.
I think they overemphasized in this movie how good
Toothless is the alpha of dragons.
All right.
There's dragons that are literally 100 feet tall, and Toothless is the alpha.
All right.
That's crazy.
I think Vhagar can destroy entire armies easily. Toothless can maybe hit a couple guys.
Okay, so are we doing this true draft fashion where it goes you, me, you, me?
Yeah.
Okay, so I get back.
So you get 2 picks. You get 2 picks.
Okay, now I pick Toothless.
Right.
And I'm taking Dragon.
Ooh.
Yeah, from Game of Thrones.
Right.
Who just annihilates your dragon.
Well, Vhagar is bigger than
who cares?
Dragon.
No, Dragon's better.
Okay.
I don't even know if I'm saying it correctly, but you know what I'm saying.
You're so screwed with this next pick. Mushu from Mulan.
Oh no! No, you got that. He's gonna play like mental mind games. He's gonna be like shit talking me as we're trying to fight our dragons, and it's gonna get in my head.
He's gonna pull some Bugs Bunny moves. You know, like you're going at it.
He doesn't even have to do anything. All he needs to do is just sit there and roast me.
Oh yeah,
you can't be like dishonor on you, dishonor on your family, dishonor on your cow.
Yeah, if you come at this with brute strength, you're done.
I'm so cooked. Okay.
Wait, do I get another pick?
Yeah,
now?
You get another pick.
Okay.
Crap.
I don't think that you would pick this person.
Okay.
I'm picking Alduin from Skyrim.
Oh, come. I thought we were doing movies.
Oh, just movies?
Yeah.
So you're not going to let me pick Alduin?
No.
Well, I think, who made you ref? Who died made you ref?
We said at the beginning of this, dragons from movies.
Okay. Bold take. You're going to have to make some leaps in logic here, but I think I can get away with it. The Ender Dragon.
From the Minecraft movie.
Hear me out.
That didn't
Hear me out.
You're assuming he exists.
Hear me out. Well, Enderman exists. Therefore, they come from somewhere. So we have to assume
this is stupid.
the end exists. And if the end exists,
I thought you were about to be like Dragon Tales or something.
We have to assume the Ender Dragon exists.
All right. So I have Toothless. I have Dragon.
Yeah.
And I'm like, clearly, yes, I do have brute strength on my side.
Right. Yeah, you need a wild card in there. You need a rogue. You need a bard. You need something.
I have a couple. I think like Toothless gives me enough of like kindness and fairness to where I just need pure evil.
You don't think Drogon?
No, I don't.
He's not pure evil, but he is kind of like raw power.
He is raw power, but he's not evil. I need something that's truly like ill intentions. That like I need a dog in the fight. Okay. You know, like I need some dogs on my team. Because I need somebody who's gonna like who's gonna look at Mushu and not gonna feel bad about tearing Mushu.
Yeah, no, he's got to eat them.
Yeah, I'm picking Maleficent.
Ooh,
yeah,
right. But she's also just kind of like a lady.
But she turns into a massive dragon.
Yeah.
And I think, so you got like she's seductive, bro.
Yeah, she got a little bit of, she got both on her side.
She can play a little siren in this game. So I'm picking Maleficent. So my dragon team is Toothless, Dragon, and Maleficent.
All right. And I'm taking Vhagar, Mushu, and the Ender Dragon.
The hypothetical Ender Dragon.
Do you have any more? Do you have any more picks? We could
go
to 5 of you.
I think I don't really have more. I think honorable mentions.
You want to hear some of my honorable
mentions? I had thought about Smaug from the Hobbit movie,
right?
Because Benedict Cumberbatch is so iconic, and you have those iconic behind the scene clips of him actually being a dragon.
Yeah,
I think that's like commendable.
I think honorable mention if we're going for
Hydra from Hercules.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's a really good one. Dang.
You should have picked
Hydra. I should have picked Hydra.
If we're going with the seductive route, if we're getting a seductive element on our side, I'm picking Dragon from Shrek as my honorable mention.
Oh crap! That is seductive, but she has a soft side. She marries a donkey, bro.
She seduces a donkey.
I don't know if that's impressive.
That's funny. I couldn't have done it.
That's funny. Okay.
Yeah. I also had did you ever watch The Quest for Camelot?
No.
Oh, okay. There's a comedic dragon in there who's like a Siamese twin.
I thought you were going to pick the dragon from Neverending Story.
No, I don't. I'm not a huge fan of that movie.
That's fair. I've never really seen it.
Interesting.
Okay. Do you want to keep moving on to some games?
Sure.
All right. So hypothetically, right, if you were in a situation where you had to seduce a female animated character that is an adult and married or with somebody, those are the rules. If you had to seduce a female character away from their man, who would you be able to seduce? Like, could you seduce like Miss Incredible and woo her away from Mr. Incredible?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't think away from Mr. Incredible.
Okay,
listen to the name. Mr. Incredible.
But is he emotionally available to her? No. So he's like muscle, but he's distracted. He's always leaving her alone doing the housework and being a mom.
They did almost get divorced.
He lies to her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole point of the first
their marriage
movie
is deception. Their whole marriage literally is deception.
Wow.
They're superheroes.
So you think that you could?
I think there's a chance.
You think you could steal Mr. Incredible's girl?
I think just if I beef up a little bit and I'm emotionally available, I think I could.
Interesting. Oh, so you still think you need she's obviously into beefy guys.
Yeah, like I need to have something.
Beef up a little bit.
She has to. I have to.
Yeah.
She has to like.
She's not doing
I have to make up for something.
You have to be in her type. You have to be her type a little bit.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Do you think you have a chance?
Oh God. Well, now when you put it like that, maybe.
Do you know who?
And you know what? For Elastigirl, I'd be a father to those kids. They can call me daddy.
You know who I also think I could potentially woo?
Who?
Again, for the same reason. I think I could woo Hiccup's mom in How to Train Your Dragon.
Oh my God.
And you know what? I would want to woo her because she's got some Viking wild style in her. Girl fakes her death to go be with dragons.
Oh my God.
She is wild. She doesn't need Stoick. She doesn't need a chief like Stoick. She likes a chief like Stoick, but I think she has potential. And in How to Train Your Dragon 3, I see the way she looks at the stumpy one. You know? Yeah. And she's got like that softness. Like she wouldn't ever actually do it because his personality's not right. But I think with the right personality, the right age, it's possible.
But if you're competing like side by side with Stoick, you can't compete with like.
All I have to tell her is I hear your vision and your dream to be with the dragons. I support you.
But then what about that scene where Stoick's like, "You're as beautiful as the day I lost."
Oh, Stoick still got charm.
Oh my God,
he still got charm.
He does that
for sure.
He does a whole song and dance for her.
For sure, but I could do a song and dance.
Yeah, but not like Stoick.
Who cares? I support her,
dude. in most situations,
Stoick finds her and immediately is like, "Forget about all your dreams and marry me again."
Yeah, but dude, again, the line delivery, the song, the dance, it's like he swept her off her feet. I don't think if I had to come in after that scene and be like, actually, leave him and be with me, there's no chance.
There's one mom in animation history that I don't think I could pull.
Who's that?
Phineas' mom from Phineas and Ferb.
You don't think so?
No. Ferb's dad's got some aura. He's emotionally available.
You think
he's
so?
always there for her. He's kind. He's like handsome in a nerdy way.
But he's not,
and
like,
you know he's making some crazy money with how smart he is.
But he doesn't seem like the most interesting guy. He doesn't seem like the most captivating guy.
He's probably captivating in other ways.
Oh,
I'm telling you, there's some that you compensate in some way, shape, or form.
He pulled her somehow, I guess.
He pulled her somehow.
She left
Ferb's
her old
aura.
man.
Ferb's aura has to come from somewhere.
This is her second marriage, so she left her first man for him.
Yeah, so I'm like, she's already been through it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
She found who she was looking for.
That's my take. What about you? Do you think there's any other in animation history?
Someone's like girl or some marriage that I think that I could break up. Jeez. I don't know. That's a tough one.
It's a tough one. I think, you know what? I think you can take Shigo away from Draken.
Are they together?
I think it's like implied that they could be. Maybe they have an on and off again thing. I think you could be the reason Shigo never looks at Draken again.
Mm-hmm.
Draken.
And I do like a girl who's a little
feisty.
Yeah, exactly.
Feisty. Yeah, Shigo's hot.
I like a girl who could literally kill me.
Yeah. You'll see the green and you go, brr. I can't purr.
Yeah, when she's threatening me.
I'll roll. She'll go, and you go, I can't roll my R's, so.
You're embarrassing. You're embarrassing me. You're trying to purr and you're failing.
I can't do it. All right, we briefly mentioned Phineas and Ferb. What do you think are the most iconic Disney Channel shows of all time? Because Phineas and Ferb recently came back on Disney Plus.
Right.
So what do you think is up there?
You got to put Hannah Montana up there.
Hannah Montana
as an iconic Disney. I mean, she's a Disney legend now.
Disney legend.
Literally, Disney called her a Disney legend.
Sweet Wife of Zack and Cody.
Oh, absolutely.
That's So Raven.
Yeah. You know what's funny is that Ashley Tisdale is like a 2-time.
Dude, Ashley Tisdale has had her fingerprints on some of the most iconic stuff Disney has ever made.
Oh my God. High School Musical, Phineas and Ferb, Sweet Life of Zack and Cody.
Yeah.
She doesn't miss.
Iconic.
Ashley. And then she didn't go crazy. No. You hear about so many of these Disney stars that go crazy in their adulthood, but she's just a normal person.
She didn't really do a whole lot in her career after that. She just kind of she was one of the few who's like, I'm okay really staying in the Disney bubble, to be honest.
And also I feel like that Phineas and Ferb paycheck was cashing for a little bit.
Oh yeah,
they did some movies and stuff. Yeah, and now they're doing more.
Yeah.
So it's like I do think that she went Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, and then when that stopped, she almost immediately hopped onto like Phineas and Ferb.
Yeah.
And then that stopped for a little while, and now she's back on it
for sure.
Oh, Bridget Mendler was another one who.
Yeah, but her show wasn't as great.
It wasn't as great, but her as a person, like
she dropped off completely. She's like, I'm gonna go be a genius.
Yeah, I'm gonna go be a genius mogul now.
Yeah, for sure,
and change the world. And so, I mean, I'm kind of going. I kind of went on a tangent from your topic, but I mean, like another one of those Disney legends who just went on to live a happy, normal life, or even just a completely exceptional normal life. Like, like it just didn't go crazy.
So we have Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. Hannah Montana, Phineas and Ferb, I think is belongs.
Yeah,
there.
You got to put Phineas and Ferb up there.
That's a Raven.
Yeah.
Okay. Wizards of Waverly Place.
Oh, completely forgot about Wizards of Waverly Place.
Banger. Made
Selena Gomez a worldwide celebrity.
400 million followers to this day.
Yeah, and she was like number 1 on Spotify for a long time.
Banger.
I couldn't tell you a single Selena Gomez song.
That might be
she was number 1 on Spotify.
Naturally, that's a Selena Gomez song.
And she dated Justin Bieber and The Weeknd, 2 of the biggest celebrities in the world.
That's true. And now she's with Benny.
Right.
Who gives everyone hope, but just that relationship existing gives a lot of guys hope.
What are you trying to say, Berkan?
I'm just saying. It gives a lot of guys hope.
You're trying to say that you didn't think that Benny, what's his last name?
I don't think Benny thought that was possible.
You didn't think Benny could pull Selena?
Again, I don't think Benny thought that was possible.
Good for him.
Good for Betty. Yeah, I think that's the Mount Rushmore.
I feel like there's got to be some Disney shows.
I mean, there's shows that are arguable, like Even Stevens and
Right,
Phil
way
of the
back
Future,
in the day. Way
Corey
back
in the House.
Dude, I wanted a wizard from Phil of the Future so bad as a kid.
Yeah.
And now I have an iPhone.
Yeah, I think like what the shows we named are the best.
I think so too.
All right, last category of questions. Okay, take the full circle back to How to Train Your Dragon. Test Drive, one of the most iconic songs in animation history. How does it live up to other iconic songs? So I want you to think of like the most iconic song from like a franchise. So like one song. So like you have the main like theme from Harry Potter, the main theme from Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Jurassic Park, Jaws, Pirates of the Caribbean. Where does How to Train Your Dragon live among those?
How to Train Your Dragon's just now getting its flowers.
But like that song has always been incredible.
But yeah, but for a long time nobody acknowledged it.
So let's go through this.
And then TikTok made it a trending song, and then people were like, actually, yeah, we all
it's
remember that song, and are finally giving it what it deserves, you know?
Yeah. So let's go through this. I'm gonna start with Lord of the Rings because I know you haven't seen Lord of the Rings, so this one's just gonna be for me. I don't have any like attachment towards Lord of the Rings. I just rewatched the extended editions. That was my first time watching the extended editions, and I loved it. But like the music to me was like just really nice. Like it's beautiful. But I think Test Drive is more exciting, which moves the needle for me more. Mm-hmm. So I'm actually going to pick Test Drive over the most iconic themes from Lord of the Rings.
I think the Jurassic Park theme I would put over Test Drive.
That's fair. I think they invoke the same thing, where you just get this like excitement. Mm-hmm. I think Star Wars is over Test Drive for sure. Because again, it starts with the dun 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 dun. It's like you're excited, you're pumped, you're like the adrenaline's flowing.
Yeah.
I would actually take Test Drive over Harry Potter, the main theme, like Hedwig's theme.
I think I would agree with you.
Like again, it's really nice. It's iconic. I love it. It makes me happy. But Test Drive has that adrenaline to it.
Yeah.
Which I think is very like
right. It doesn't evoke the same amount of like emotion that Test Drive does.
Right. And it's why I would actually say Test Drive and Jaws are a lot closer than people are going to.
I would put Test Drive over Jaws.
I just prefer How to Train Your Dragon way much more in every aspect than Jaws.
And the Jaws theme is just so simple. It's 2 notes, you know, and it just speeds up. So it's like it does a great job at doing what it's supposed to do. But the Test Drive song, just to me, is
I
just
take
better.
joy over fear.
And good for you, Berkan.
I would take Test Drive over the Mission Impossible theme.
Me too.
I would take Test Drive over James Bond.
I think so too.
Like I think let's just have an honest conversation about it. Test Drive is a beautiful song.
I think I would take Pirates of the Caribbean over.
I would take Pirates of the Caribbean over Test Drive.
Over Test Drive, yeah,
without a doubt. I mean, again, the adrenaline and joy and excitement the song brings is important.
Yeah,
without a doubt. I would take Test Drive over the Avengers theme.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. The Avengers theme, I feel like didn't catch on for several movies.
And it's like you're never in a big moment and the Avengers theme plays. I mean, there are some, of course, like Endgame, like when they're running. Like, yes, that is a great moment for sure. But Test Drive, I just think, is just not a bigger moment.
And Test Drive doesn't have to rely on years of build up with that song. Like the Avengers theme, I remember there was
That's why it's so great, because it's all
in one play, it immediately becomes iconic. The Avengers theme, I remember that there was a very popular YouTube essay about why the Avengers movies or all the Marvel movies should have better music. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't.
There was a very viral YouTube essay video that started a whole conversation about how the MCU just fell flat in the music category.
Interesting. And I can see it for sure.
And the theme was like basically the only exception, and even then the theme by itself is not great. It relies on a lot of years of like the song is supposed to evoke like all this history that you've witnessed the characters go through and this kind of stuff. So
I wouldn't take the Spider-Man theme over Test Drive. No, I would take the Spider-Man theme over Test Drive.
I can't even think of the Spider-Man theme.
It's just me though. That's just a personal thing.
I'm like, when you say Spider-Man theme, nothing even comes to mind.
Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man theme. The Tom Holland Spider-Man, to your point, that theme in the MCU, I was like, it doesn't really, it's like nice, it's catchy, it doesn't evoke Spider-Man, in my opinion.
Interesting.
I think that's everything we got for this episode, Michael.
Yeah, I think we've done it.
I think we've done the thing. We've ridden the dragon.
Well, thanks for driving in with us, guys. This was a fun one.
Be sure to follow us on socials at the Drive-In Movie Pod.
Right.
And send us your hot takes and questions, because we got some Patreon content that we need to start making. So send us your questions, please.
Yeah. Anything you want to see us create, be sure to give us some suggestions. If you have any movie
Our
opinions,
DMs are open.
Our DMs are open.
At Drive-In Movie Pod. It's open on Instagram.
Be sure to leave a comment anywhere you can find this full-length video, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. Leave a movie opinion of yours about any movie on any of our full-length videos. I
think that's it. Now we can say thank you for driving in with us.
Oh, well, I was just thankful that they drove in with us anyway.
Oh, okay.
I didn't care when we said.
Oh, well, thank you.
All right, bye, y'all.
Bye.